Hey, what's going on? My name is Matt, and I will be going through some project management, product design things for AMP links. So if you haven't checked out episode one, I would go to check out um, my YouTube or our YouTube, Trout House Tech YouTube channel. There's a playlist for which I'm keeping track of these things. Episode one goes over many things that are relevant to this episode here. We're going to be picking up with price book items. So, like I said, episode one goes. You watch the first 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. Episode one talks a lot about price books and how we use them throughout the platform. So, like I said, assume that you will have checked that out. So there are two different types of price book items. There's with some asterisks or quotes around it. There's a labor and there's a okay. So there's two different types of cost, right? Labor and materials. Um, one so we need to represent these costs as price book items. Price book items can have uh, a couple different types, but it's really still broken up into two, which is labor, which is just a single price book item type, and then materials, which could be filters, it could be equipment, right, and all of that. So what we're talking about here is a labor price book item, and I guess what I should do as well is get back here and show you that form again. It's for myself too. This is the form that we're going with. We have a type, which is filter, and again, we also have a type for labor, um, which we're getting to here. So when I go to add a price book item, if I select the labor type, the price book item now, the type of the price book, the structure of the price book item now switches a little bit, right? Instead of having material cost, material labor, labor cost, material cost, material cost, material cost, material price. Cost is what it cost us to complete the service. Price is what we actually charge our customer. We don't have materials. We just have our for labor. We're tracking the hourly labor cost and the hourly labor price. So this is just an hourly rate, right? We need a way to say that when technician A goes out to complete this job, technician A is charging us, or we're paying technician $50 an hour, but we're charging $75 an hour for that technician. This is what allows us to do that, right? So previously we had hourly rates. So team settings, manage users. These are all okay, all good. When you go to edit user, there's an hourly rate. You can edit these hourly rates so that multiple technicians are using this hourly rate. That's how we would set it there. So we're following this flow still. It's just that instead of calling it hourly rates, we're calling it a labor price book item. So that's how we create it. It goes in the same. It have name description. It goes into the same table as the material price book items. When we go to add a trip, right? So we have a work order. On this work order is created. It's for this piece of equipment. We can see that on this equipment there are, this is the checklist of stuff that needs to get done. The technician, yeah, so it needs to get done. Like I said, these are the equipment. Now we need to assign a technician to this work order to complete, right? To go out and complete the service call. To do that, we add a trip. We specify what date they're going out there. Let's say next Monday. Well, that's last Monday. Next Monday, let's say they're supposed to start at 8 a.m. We're going to go and assign it to technician one, and it should take them 4 hours. So maybe we'll assign them let's say we have two work orders that probably take 3 to 4 hours. We'll assign two trips. We'll assign two work orders to one technician. Maybe they're the same area and all that stuff. So this hours allows us to do that. This we can now see this on the calendar. June, and this should definitely be better, but June 3rd, yeah, we should just have like a normal drop down field. I just recognize that. But this is our calendar. This is super old. This is some of our oldest UI and logic. unassigned queue, unscheduled queue. I'm not even sure that unscheduled actually works anymore. But we can see that this technician is now scheduled for from 8 to 12 at this job. There's no description, so that's what would show up underneath here. So that we could say, okay, we could probably assign something from 1 to 3 or 1 to 1. Let's see, 8 to 4. I would say so we could assign something from 1 to 4. They have off for lunch, and then we assign another one. When we go to assign this trip, we want to specify how much this technician is going to. What's the hourly rate essentially, or the hourly labor cost for this technician on this job. Now, from team settings, we're still going to have that hourly rate kind of UI, where maybe we in the designs Isaac did. I gave him some direction for that, but we still are going to set a default hourly rate or hourly labor cost for the technician, for the user. Let's say it's $100 an hour. But then we get to here. We want to be able to specify for this trip what's their hourly rate, and it would default to whatever's in. Okay, so before that. Okay, so is there anything I gotta finish with that concept? So that's all this input would be. Is when we add a trip, we're just saying, okay, this technician is. This is the labor price book item that we're gonna use for this trip. So that would be when adding the trip. We also have we are also adding a field to the work order for it here, which is default hourly rate, in which we can select from a price book item, a labor price book item. So this default hourly rate or default labor, probably default hourly rate, just to keep it. That's definitely more. It's easier to understand for folks than price book item, labor price book item. It's just more words, more you have to understand a price book item, whereas it's just like everyone knows an hourly rate, right? So that default value will in the base be used for here, but let's say that the technician that we've added here, let's say the default hourly rate for the work order is $40.50 per hour. But then the user has an default hourly rate of $100 per hour. We want to make sure that we use that instead, because that's what it's going to be at the end of the day. For technician, yeah, so that's what it's going to be. We want to use the higher cost for the job. But let's say that we're on team settings, and this user actually has. These are all massive. Let's say $20 an hour, right? This user now has an hourly rate of $20 an hour. In this scenario, we're going to use $40.50 because it's higher, right? So we default to whatever's higher for that. That there. So that's pretty much it. That's all this ticket's for. This looks good. Hourly labor cost, hourly rate. Yeah, I think this is all good. So adding a new trip, this is going to be for development. Okay, so let me create a loop for this. Hey, what's going on? So I just want to talk through the designs here. So when you, okay, so we have a price book item inside of team settings. When I create a price book item, there's a type field. This type field is going to be populated from a list, the price book price book item types list. Which maybe I should just go on now. Okay, so what I need you to do is add a project. No, because price book items are on the sales side. So what I need you to do is add a gear icon here next to price, next to filter by type. And maybe even just adding the gear icon here, I think is what we want, as opposed to this little caret. So add a gear icon. When this gear icon is pressed, it should open up a modal. This modal should behave much like the modals do here, where we can add different values. This type input is going to be all of those values plus a labor value, right? So labor should always be there. When I press labor, it's going to change the modal to look like this. So now we, instead of having material costs and all that stuff, like the warehouse information, all we have is hourly labor costs and hourly labor price. And I think for pricing information, we can just like from the default value here, we have labor costs and labor price. Let's just use the same field for that. We just don't. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should have a material price book item and a labor price book item collection. You want to say, I don't know. That would be more work at this point. I don't know that we should have a separate collection, but we can have a separate type. Nah. Yeah. Because if we... All right, so what am I saying? These two are both price book items, but this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more values, 6 more fields than this does. Right, so if we just use the same data type, and then this is just labor, and we only fill these in, then we're gonna have 6 fields that are just like blank and always blank, right? So just storage costs, and then we'll have to do like just comparisons between the type. Like if it's a labor type, then behave this way. If it's anything but a labor type, then it's materials. Behave in this second way, as opposed to like if it's labor, then we're now dealing with a labor price book item. We're gonna have to do the type filtering anyway. So let's just have the 6 unused values. Maybe what we should do is that, like, when a price book item is created with the labor type, then just like go through and delete all of the fields. I think we should just do that. It's going to be ugly from the code, but I think it's probably best. So that is adding a labor price book item. This labor price book item should now be used inside of manage users hourly rate. So instead of using the hourly rate collection, we should be using, this should say hourly rate / labor price book item. We're going to do away with this icon. So what we should actually do is labor price book item with a help icon that when I hover on it, it says hourly rate. No, let's do the opposite. Let's do hourly rate and then have the info icon that's on hover says labor price book item. Where this list can be, I should do labor price book items. I'm not going to get into that. Maybe Matt or Tim will change that. And then this drop down, like I said, should be the labor price book items, where we'll show the title. Let's just show the title and then the hourly rate. So much like we have here. Yeah. Okay, so that's that step. So I'd have my headphone off because I think Rocco's going to be a little crazy in the moment. You all right? What's going on? Somebody. I have to just go give him a little bit of attention. Um, okay, so that's the first step. When I go to add a trip, we now have this hourly rate drop down, which again, selecting hovering over this should say price book item. This hourly rate is going to be a list of the labor price book items that are inside of the global team settings. Yeah. So the default value of this is going to be one of two things. It's either going to be it's going to be whichever's higher between the hourly rate set on the user and the default hourly rate value that's here. Right. So the default hourly rate when I press on when I edit this, you'll see that this is open. That should not be correct. This should be a drop down list of the labor price book items that have been added inside of, sorry, I guess that would be here. The labor price book items that have been added from team settings, right? So whichever one has a higher dot hourly labor cost, we should be using that. This guy, I guess he can't, doesn't reach. I'll go. Oh, you can't see it, but he's right. Sorry, that can definitely be smoother. Dude, I can't even stand. What are you doing? You gotta give me 14 minutes. I'm trying to make these 30 minutes each. Sorry, we got sidetracked there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now. And then when we create this, okay, yeah, when we create this, when we create labor project, and I'll do this, we worry about this afterwards, but when we create labor project costs, we'll then use this new labor price book item as opposed to the hourly rate logic that we have now. Right, because if I get into here, let's say that I'm up in here, I create a new user. This is a service user. We're looking at 531 user, map plus 531 at Shot House Tech. Save. Okay. $531. Okay, so now I go to that work order. I go to time. I create a new trip for that user. Let's say I do 5. And then I add a new time entry. This should all work. I add a new time entry for that user. When I go to cost and billing, we can see that we have to set the hourly rate. This we won't have to worry about this scenario anymore because when they go to add a trip, they'll have to specify this. Right, so the value used here is no longer dependent on the value set on a specific user document. It's now controlled by the trip, which is much better. So I think that's it. So yeah. That's good. Sweet. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. I forget in those videos that I'm also talking to you. So sorry to make Deli thinks I'm crazy. It's nice. Okay. I don't wanna let you know. Okay, so Isaac's making some updates there. Price books. Add price book tab to account detail page. Gave Isaac some more feedback on that, so that's all good there. Update new line item. I think I also gave Isaac feedback for this. Very cool. So this is, remember, if you, okay, go ahead and watch the first video. I talk about using price book items when creating an estimate. We used to call them saved line items. Saved line items, yeah, but now we just have price book items. We used to have saved line items, saved parts, saved maintenance items. And it's all the same thing. So that's honestly what took so long to really do this. Like even before this 2 month stretch of us really hammering it out, is we just had so many different types that it was an hourly rates, right? We had so many different things that were behaving so similarly, but just like slightly different, but were used in a slightly different context. Which maybe I just said the same statement twice in a row. So getting rid of all of the fluff and the related information, and now just having price books is the best way to go. But when you create an estimate, you can specify price book items so that when you send the proposal, it has all the consistent pricing. And it's gonna right now we had a table because we were only collecting items that the description. But now we have a name and a description for a price book item. So we're gonna have to do away with this table, which is I think ideal, and go more towards this kind of look. And that might not be as good as I think because this model here is actually pretty large. So we're gonna have all of that. Like we're gonna have like this kind of UI, but much larger. And we can't really make this any smaller. I mean, I guess we could, because material costs, like, it's never going to be super large. This could be large group names, but in that situation, we could just expand this over and put it's going to be cost code. We put that down here. So I think that's probably what we'll do is we'll just end up decreasing the width of this modal here. Very cool. Give me 1 second. Okay, so picking back up here, I was working with Mel. We are fostering a cat today, so she's at the store getting some things. Somebody. I'll be done in 7 minutes. Okay. Then we can go hang out downstairs. I get some stuff. All right. Okay, so that I think we're done with this one. Low priority, select existing price book item, maintenance item. Very cool. Very cool. So this one is importante. Maybe I'll do this one. I'm just way better with React Native. Like I can do that shit all day. Whereas like I can do the logic, like the business logic on web for React, but when it and I can clean up some UI and do some stuff, but I'm just super slow with it. I don't really enjoy it. So excuse me. So I don't. Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at with web. All right, so I think Pricebook is actually as so this one here, I think I'll just do myself because once Starterback is done, Starterback's almost done with the initial things for the PR. Like we're um with the designs with Pricebook, these updates, they're mainly just UI updates. There's some logic flow updates, but at this point for the designs, it's like I said, it's mostly UI, maybe an addition of or removal of a field or two. So Starterback has been pushing forward with this development for this, and it's going to be at a really good point by tomorrow afternoon or evening. Then I'll take over. I'll do the final QA. I'll do the final tweaks. I'll change up some of the UI, and I'll tweak the UI. I'll tweak the data model. I'll add some documentation. I'll add some Sentry logs and do the things. And then once I have that base, then I'll replicate that on the mobile app, the React Native side, which I'll be able to zoom through. And thankfully, the way we build things are, you know, 95+% the same on mobile as they are on web in terms of like the business logic and Redux and all the things. So I think that's pretty good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in this that I can put in this video. New maintenance item, web. Okay, yeah, let me just keep working through this. This is what I got to do. So select from existing PBIs when adding a new maintenance item. So I think this is just a small tweak to the data model. Somewhere else. Okay, I think we need some subtasks here. No. I'll just create a video here, probably best. Hey, what's going on? So I just want to talk through this. So if we don't have, I think these might be optional. We should make them non-optional, and just double check that we have these inside the data model. And then the only thing to be updated or added is price book item, which is, you know, when we are adding. Oh, okay. I guess this is this. Let me just go through all the things. So when you add it, just for web, when you go to a component and you add a maintenance item, we will also need the full list here. Create a video for Isaac. It's probably longer than 30 minutes. He's kind of chilling at the moment. So, hey, what's going on? So I just realized we need one more set of designs for this here. So these are permanent pictures, which we actually don't have. We should have permanent pictures. And rated. Oh, I forgot about all of these things. Components, work orders, maintenance items. Can you work on an improved version of this? So we need this to be a list of maintenance items still, but you know, in the new price book item format. So we need a name, description. We'll need the material cost. We should probably just show the material cost. And then quantity. Yeah, we need quantity too. Yeah, so you can work on this. We'll still need these category filters or labels, right? Because price book items still have types, so we'll group them by types. So yeah, if you can work on that, we won't need the plus button though. So if you we will need a way to just add a maintenance item from here, from this list. So yeah, let me know. Thanks. Okay, now I can go to here, do the things. Hey, what's going on? So I want to talk quickly about this data model. So if these are optional, which I think they might be on web, maybe on both on mobile, ignore mobile for now. But for web, maintenance items, they said might be optional. So make sure that they're required. And then up here, we're only adding this price book item field. We're going to have name and quantity. Name and quantity. Okay, so price. So when a technician is out in the field, they have the ability, or we're adding the ability to track they should use a price book item, right? They say, hey, I'm using this track, I'm using this material. This material is already created as a price book item. But there are situations in which that's just not the case. There hasn't been a price book item created for the material that they purchased or used. We need them to be able to add a one-time cost, one-time material cost. Um, um, so in that case, we're prioritizing users using a price book item, but material price book item, but they can add a one-time cost. For maintenance items, there is no one-time maintenance item. In order for you to add a maintenance item, there has to be a price book item there. So I think we can actually get rid of. No, see, I think we should just. So name is going to be the name of like on the price book item value. Yeah, no, I think we should just do this quantity, ID, quantity, and price book item. That's all we're going to do. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the data model. Pretty simple. From the UI side, when we're on, so Isaac is working on some designs for. I just gave Isaac a short video going over some designs for the update to this modal. But just keep it as it is for now. Just work on the functionality as much as you can. But when I go to, from here, if I hit the plus button, that would open up, that would typically open up the, like, add, looks like we don't have it here, but the add maintenance item modal. The add maintenance item modal is going to now look like this, where when it's going to say select price book item as the default placeholder. When I press on that, the quantity shouldn't be present. So in its default state. Once I select on it, we're going to show them, ignore the title only. If you see title only PNGs, ignore those. We want title and description. So this is the title of the price book item. This is the description. And then these are the values. So I think this looks really good. So, try to replicate it as much as you can inside of the UI, the actual app. When I select on it, then the quantity shows, and then I can add the quantity. And then that is really it. Make sure that Sentry is all up in there. I don't think anything else changes. So you'll need to also double check. So right now the actual, like if I go to a work order, I go to equipment, I go into the equipment. If I go to maintenance items, it's going to crash right now. But you please do the necessary QA when I add maintenance items here that they are showing here appropriately. Eventually, Isaac is working on some designs. Like I said, some new designs for this model. So eventually we'll also update how we need to update how this modal looks, because it's going to be essentially the same modal just without the add option. But then when so maintenance items doesn't work. Maybe I forgot about that. But this is like an exhausted maintenance items list, so that needs to work. Okay, so I also ask Isaac to do that. But when I go to the service and I open the service, the maintenance items are down here, right? So we'll need to see air filter. This doesn't look great at all. So I need Isaac to work on this too. But this list should also be price book items. And we won't have to worry about like duplicates. This would be the price book item type. Yeah, this looks bad. But just make sure that like at least the list shows. We could just do the title, maintenance items on that. And then parts we'll work through with Isaac as well. But this is not the maintenance item stuff. It'll just be this. So just work through what you can. Try and make sure it's all functional. That like adding the maintenance items to the component, like that works. And then the data just shows, right? The rows show their update and all that stuff. I don't know that we have maintenance items showing anywhere else. Um, so, uh, so yeah, just let me know if you have any questions about that. Thanks. Okay, I need more stuff from Isaac, unfortunately. Hey, what's going on? So before you get started on these design updates, please go ahead and watch the loom that I added inside of development. I just go over a lot of what I'm about to go over, and I think it'd be good to talk like if you saw it from like the dev side. But we need more designs for how maintenance items are used. I forgot about this, so I do apologize. But maintenance items are used in a couple different places. So I just gave you this video, which goes over the need to redesign and update this for the new maintenance items. But we have similar, and that UI would also go here. But maintenance items, we also need an exhaustive list of maintenance items in this part. So we have all equipment for this location, right? This is a very real scenario where a location has a ton of equipment. Let's say we're doing like an apartment complex. Like there are tons of equipment there. I need to be able to see all of the maintenance items for all of the selected equipment as well as the non-selected equipment. And the maintenance items, and now maintenance items pertain to a price book item. So we should have a table which shows it'll say maintenance item name, it'll say maintenance item description, and the material cost, material price. Um, 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 so uh, so yeah, that should show. It shouldn't show the labor cost and price. I'm still not 100% sure on like tracking labor cost and price for a material price book item, but that's the direction I was given. So that's so yeah, we'll need to display that list here. Also, when I open a service, we'll need to display the list here. So if you can work to improve the UI of this, that would be great. I don't know, and same thing for this top section. I don't know if we have actually done that yet. I feel like we have somewhat, at least somewhat. It doesn't look like it too much. Thought you did somewhere. Starting to lose control. Here we go. Yeah, I'm starting to lose control of this Figma a little bit. Maintenance items. Okay, so we do have this. So yeah, this will need to be updated. Service expenses. Um, we'll have to. Okay, so permanent pictures. We should just do this. We shouldn't do this yet. Um, okay, yeah. So update this as well. We could just get rid of this old modal because I'm just gonna have Isaac do this. It'd be easy to add permanent pictures. But it'll have this tighter modal here. And I wonder if we need this card up here. Cards down here, I guess, makes sense, but you're not sure. Maintenance items, we'll need this updated to be the new price book item stuff. Expenses, so expenses, we have name. We'll need these would just be material expenses. Quantity and total cost. Okay, I think this is pretty good actually. So no need to make changes on that. Add new expense. We'll have to fix this, update this somehow. So if it's general expense, we just wouldn't show. I've definitely given a ton of direction to like disable things, but we should um, just not show it. Okay, so just to give a quick recap of this part, update this UI to, and this should be track. This should be add material expense. Maintenance items would use the new price book item stuff. Expenses is fine. Service is fine, and yeah, nothing else needs to be changed there. And we did this. I don't know that we. I don't know that we were trying to like group them together. But I think for the expenses, these sub tables are probably better. Definitely better. Maybe I don't like how we have like two bold text competing for like the eyes. But I think that's fine for now. Sweet. I think that's all the spots though. Equipment. If you go to equipment, view maintenance items. So that's that there. Okay, we talked about the other spot. Maintenance items. You can't view any of the maintenance items here. You have to go to here, and that's just crashing all the dev stuff. So yeah. So thanks. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. I need a break. Rocco doesn't need a break. I need a break. Crazy though, because we were on this for 2 months. Tim's been talking with Matt. We got Andrew involved to kind of work through data model stuff. Startup's been ramping away at this stuff. Isaac and I have just been going through endless designs and like concepts, proof of concepts and stuff like that to present back to Tim and Matt and going back and forth. And we didn't even missed all these other tables. Crazy. So, but that will end this second episode. Went a little bit longer than 30. I would love to keep them at 30, but I'm not going to be a stickler for that. So yeah, appreciate you watching. I'll definitely do episode 3. I'll probably do like 4 or 5 episodes today because I just got a bunch of project management that I got to do. So yeah, appreciate you watching. Till next time.